the largest sporting event happening every 4 years to unite the world and represent their country, the Olympics. The Olympics is the peak of sports. Every athlete strives to take home a gold medal for their country, to show their athleticism, to do the impossible, break records, and prove what they can do. The Olympics has two seasonal Olympics that are offset by 2 years from each other and happen every 4 years. The Summer Olympics are in 2024 in Paris, and the next Winter Olympics will be in 2026 in Milan and Cortina d'Ampezzo, Italy. For decades, every country has wanted to host the Olympics, to be the country that unites the world in one spectacular sporting event and add the publicity for their country. But over the last few decades, fewer and fewer countries want to host. With Paris and Los Angeles being the only two bidders for 2024, the Olympic Committee decided to award 2024 to Paris and 2028 to Los Angeles, with fear of no one wanting to bid for the 2028 Games. Over the years, countries had suffered major financial losses and abandoned infrastructure due to some venues being built solely for the Games and then never touched again. Countries hoped that the long list of requirements to host the Olympics, such as housing, venues, transportation, and much more, would pay off in the long run by creating a tourist attraction for generations to come and visit an official Olympic site. However, spending all that money to host has left host cities with giant sporting venues that may never be used again, an influx of visitors with not enough public transit, and a lack of housing. However, there was a solution to this problem. For the 1984 Games, no cities wanted to host except for Los Angeles. For years prior to this, countries and cities would bid in battle to be the one to host. Leading up to the 1984 Olympics, there was a slew of issues that occurred over the previous Games. In 1972, terrorist events took place in Munich. In 1976, Montreal was expected to pay roughly $250 million to host the Games, but ended up with a price tag of $1.4 billion, which took 30 years to get out of debt. In 1980, 65 countries boycotted the Moscow Games, and many believed that 1984 would be the last Olympics. Los Angeles was already equipped with plenty of infrastructure to host, with UCLA having large sports venues, dorm rooms for housing, and the technology to create an efficient event. Los Angeles was ready to show off the technological advances they had for proper measuring, scorekeeping, messaging, and airing. Being just south of Silicon Valley, the 1984 Games were a huge opportunity for tech companies to show off their new products. Turning a $250 million profit, it was safe to say the 1984 Los Angeles Games were a success that may have proved a turn of events for the Olympics. The ability to use actively standing venues, greater technological advances, and the proof of major profits. More cities were willing to host. In 1988, 2 cities were willing to host, 6 in 1992, 6 in 1996, 8 in 2000, 11 in 2004, 10 in 2008, and 9 in 2012. However, since then, the number has gone down. Since then, that expectation of profit from 1984 no longer exists. In 2008, Beijing spent $40 billion to earn $3.6 billion, and in 2012, London spent $18 billion to earn $5.2 billion. Olympic committees had pitched thousands of jobs for the city, most of which are temporary. Tourism is expected to be high but declines massively after the Games. And the cost to maintain the massive infrastructure required to host is too expensive and is often neglected, resulting in abandoned stadiums and venues. While hosting the Olympics may seem cool, most citizens of the host country aren't too thrilled with their tax dollars being spent on something that will just cost more money in the future. There was a proposal to have Greece become a permanent host of the Olympics, but that defeats the purpose of allowing the world to unite in varying countries every 4 years for the Games. With all of the issues of hosting the Olympics, primarily the fact that it is a major financial burden and far from profitable, it is likely we will continue to see fewer and fewer bids to host.